Good afternoon. Welcome to the Thursday, June 18th of 2026 public meeting of the Kingston City Land Bank's Acquisition, Disposition, and Construction Committee meeting. My name is Mike. I serve as the meeting's moderator. We do ask that members of the public limit their comments to no more than 2 minutes per speaker. And with that, I will turn the meeting over to the chair, Mr. Aaron Chilwich, who may ask that I moderate the meeting if he so chooses.
Um, Hello, good to see you all again. I'm having audio problems. I can't hear you, but are you hearing an echo when I speak? No. Okay, that's great. Mike, yes, I will ask that you oversee the meeting today. I'd really appreciate it. I'm here and I will vote and I'm listening. But that'd be very helpful.
Of course, my pleasure. So first agenda item under the new home program development, we have financing and requisitions. I would ask Kyle, maybe you could give us some updates.
Sure thing. Share my screen quickly. Okay, here's the latest financing summary. We've already REC'd and received these first 8 requisitions. These RECs 9 and 10 are pending. We just received the final construction pay apps for this month, which is kind of the major makes up the bulk of these requisitions. So usually once we get that, we're good to submit the other requisitions. So this will wrap up much of the work at construction work at Teller. Yeah, so shortly we'll be submitting an LBI rec and a home rec home requisition. And should hopefully have those paid back in the next coming weeks. But yeah, everything looking good. And yeah, Michael have some more updates on specifics of construction, but yeah, there's the latest on financing.
Cool. Thank you, Kyle. So updates on construction. We had a pause of approximately 45-ish to 60 days for the rework of the foundations on Hanratty and on Murray. That foundation rework has been completed, the change orders negotiated and accepted. The helical piles will show up from Long Island next week, and pending some final discussions with the structural engineer on the plan for the Hanratty foundation, we expect both those piles to begin installation next week and the foundation work to commence next week. So construction work continues on Teller Street. We poured the path in front of the building fairly recently, and I think I know that the substantial completion date remains August 1st for that property on Teller. For the other two, it is October 1st. So not to jump around too much, but that leads into the sales and marketing piece, which is when Kyle and I would probably commence sales and marketing upon substantial completion of all the buildings. So construction continues, foundation work to start in earnest next week. Any questions on that? Or cool. Included in construction is our landscaping design piece, for which the landscape designer will be presenting to those who are interested or available next week their proposed plan for 43 Teller. Our approach had been to focus first on that building, obviously, because it's further along in construction. They have some great ideas. They're working under the constraints of the construction schedule itself, so not at all to make excuses for them in any way, shape, or form, but some of this is already set, so that path has been poured. And they had some thoughts, but we just did not have the time to slow or stop construction. They are very excited to have a little more time to think about the other two, Murray and Hanratty, and we will possibly maybe circulate what their plans are after that gets approved or reviewed by the design committee following the meeting that we have next Friday. But excited to engage with them. They're very eager and earnest and have a ton of ideas, and they're very creative people. So we're happy that they're on board. Included as a subset of the landscaping is a discussion that is still in the formative stages around integrating volunteers into the installation of that landscaping work. I know the member of the comms committee who's also on this committee is not here, and I wouldn't speak for her. So to be continued on that piece. Our hope would be to move forward in a timely manner that makes sense, possibly starting in August, although I don't know if that's true. Hi, Barbara.
Hi, sorry, I was late.
Are you good? I was just mentioning, coincidentally, the possible discussion around volunteer integration at a TBD format on the comms committee for landscape installation, but that's kind of I think it's safe to say that's kind of like an ongoing discussion.
Yes, agreed.
Cool. So I covered the sales and marketing piece. No other input to add on that unless there are any questions. We're very excited to offer these homes for sale, but we feel it's best to put our best foot forward when the landscaping is pretty much in place, if not entirely in place, and so that would be later in the year. Moving on to 46 grand. I guess maybe I'll take the piece on contracts, and Kyle, maybe you could talk through some of the recent conversations we've had around pre-development, although they're still very formative. We expect to have signed both contracts, I hope today, for both civil engineering and architecture. And we did have a kickoff call for architecture today, and have had some preliminary back and forth with the civil engineer in advance of the contract. So more to come. We do now have a standing team meeting Thursdays for this development. So we expect to have increasingly more updates at this meeting and future board meetings around this development, and very excited about it. And then on to maybe pre-development. I don't mean to put you on the spot, Kyle. I'm happy to kind of jump in myself, but maybe.
I mean, I'm happy to talk about this, but was there anything in particular you wanted to emphasize with that?
I think I covered it by saying we had a kickoff call.
Yeah, that's what I was going.
Sorry.
No worries.
We're currently continuing to look at the model most closely that focuses on townhome development. I think it's worth noting, although we haven't necessarily taken entirely off the table other alternatives, but it's currently our primary focus. With a closing date backing into the timelines associated with starting this work and our understanding of timelines for site plan approval, and then moving into construction documents, and then based on our past history of bidding out construction documents and closing on financing, we were hopeful for a December closing. We still are hopeful for a December 2026 closing, but it's looking increasingly more realistic that we're looking at a June of 2027 closing target date. So
Still not bad.
sorry?
Still not bad in terms of
Thank you. We'll try to bring it in as soon as we will bring it in as soon as we can. So next item would be 19A. So the council sought in its infinite wisdom to approve the city's resolution to offer us to purchase the 319A properties that the board approved previously on Quartz Boulevard, and I don't know why I can't remember the third house that will come to me. So these are 319A properties that we would acquire within approximately 75 days from now. So following our attorney's return from his intense closing season in July, we will begin the process of setting up acquiring these properties. Following or near the acquisition of these properties, Kyle and I will be issuing RFPs for the clean out and the stabilization and anything else that looks like an emergency repair or something that's necessary on each one of these properties. We've talked about this previously, but just wanted to say that that will be coming in the next 2 months. The funding source for this has been secured, and we have budgeted for it accordingly under our LBI grant. So final piece would be Article 11 properties. These are the large, I'm sorry, Joanna, did you unmute? I saw you just mute. Okay. Sorry, I get lost in my head and turn away from it. Article 11 properties will be meeting with the City of Kingston and the Novo in Kingston Foundation next week to discuss potential options, priorities, desired outcomes, and presentation of, I guess, sort of available possibilities that the land bank could help to effectuate if there was such an interest. I'm being vague because I don't really know how the meeting will turn out, but other than to say that that meeting is taking place next week, and hopefully in rapid fashion produces some sort of framework that we could come back to the board and say, this is what we think that we are supported in, or this is what we know that we're supported in, or this is what we are not supported in, and so we recommend the following. So that's it, unless there are any other questions, comments, new business.
Oh, thanks for all the updates. Most of this stuff I think is minor updates and stuff we've heard before. That's great.
Yeah,
Keep it moving.
very thorough.
Okay. Happy Juneteenth.
All right.
Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.